Hi, Doug Sharp from Canada Family Action and the National Leadership Briefing. Normally you see me back behind my desk in British Columbia, but today I'm in Alberta because we have an election that is upon us here in Alberta. And I care about Alberta an awful lot, even though I live in British Columbia, because I'm originally from Calgary. As a matter of fact, right here, we're at Henry Wisewood High School in Calgary, where I went to high school. St. Peter's Anglican Church is across the street. The elementary school that I went to as a kid is just across that field, Chinook Park, and my house where I grew up is just about 2 streets over, and where I walk to school every day. So I have some history here in Alberta, and I care about the decisions that are made in the elections here in Alberta because I guess I got a heart for it. I guess I have a heart for it. But the reason why I wanted to make a video today is that I came into town here, and I know the election is upon us. And as I drove around this morning, I could tell just by the number of election signs that are on everyone's lawns here that everyone is, really taking it seriously about the choice that they have before them. And I'm a little concerned that maybe some signs are up for parties that aren't aligned with my views and values. And of course, at the National Leadership Briefing, we're always working to advance the principles that we believe into society, culture, politics, and government. So when I see signs on lawns, I kind of as a meter as to kind of where the temperature is in Calgary. And being someone who believes in freedom and family and parental authority and protecting vulnerable citizens, the National Leadership Briefing, the things that we believe in. We want to see our right of belief and freedom of religion protected. And so I can see that by the different parties and their positions here in Alberta, I can tell that there are some very distinct choices to be made here. Some people may not be familiar with the parties entirely. Maybe they aren't sure what the platforms are. So I wanted to help you out a little bit because we have some history with conservative governments in Canada. We have some history with NDP governments in Canada, and that's really your choice here in Calgary and here in Alberta during this election. So let me tell you, first of all, one of the things that I'm concerned about is I'm concerned when I see the NDP as possibly being the party of choice here. When I see a lot of NDP signs out there and I think about this province and the province that I grew up in, I'm concerned that if you are going to vote NDP, that you're fully aware of what it is that you're voting for. Oftentimes in elections, parties spit out a lot of one-liners and they sound really good, like it's like, hey, vote for me because I'm the one you can trust, or some even conservative parties oftentimes throw out the one-liners as well. It's for the family or for freedom. But what I do whenever I vote and whenever I look to encourage people to vote in a certain direction is I say, look at the track record. Look at the track record of both the right side of the political spectrum and the left side of the political spectrum. And in Alberta, you guys have a an excellent track record to look at of both of those choices. Let me give you an example. When I was growing up here in Alberta, I graduated from high school, left high school, it was around 1980, and then I moved out into the world. Now, before me in that world here in Alberta, I had no limits to my choices. Matter of fact, my father and mother were so excited about the fact that all of us kids were going to get just hurled right out into society and nothing but opportunity before us, because there was predominantly governments that believed that you provide people with economic opportunity. As government, you make sure that there's lots of options and lots of choices, and then you get out of the way so that people can capitalize on those opportunities. Well, that is historically in Alberta, what built Alberta was people taking advantage of opportunities to engage in businesses and to start new businesses. I remember when I was young, boy, you could have started any business. It could have been fence painting or a repair business, or you could have sold things on the side of the road and you could make money and you could support yourself. It was really a massive economic opportunity in front of us. Now, there are other political views out there that want the government to provide you with all of those opportunities. And that's what we've been seeing whenever we've seen NDP governments get into place. And so what we say to ourselves is, wait a second, do we want to have the choice as to which opportunities we capitalize on, or do we want the government to say, this is what you're going to be doing? This is what I want you to ask yourself. I want you to ask yourself is, Do I want freedom and an open road in front of me? Do I want government to get out of the way of free enterprise? Do I want government to be there to help the people that need assistance? That's great, but give us also economic opportunities and big wide roads for us to run down? Or do we want government to control absolutely everything? Now, I'm living in British Columbia right now, and you might say, Doug, what do you know about NDP governments? Well, I live in British Columbia, and I can tell you, we have an NDP government there, and they are just completely focused on the takeover of all economic opportunities. They want to be in control. And this is so obvious to us now if you just look across into the next province. So I come to you with a message. When you go to the polls, I know there's a lot of ways you can vote. You can vote strategically. You can vote, out of offense. Maybe you're angry with one of the former political operatives in the past, and you're not happy with the way that they handled themselves, and so you're going to maybe give a protest vote. But just remember that whatever you vote for is a vote for whatever you want in the end. And I believe that you're going to see, if you take a look at the history of this province and you take a look at the history of our nation, is that the most prosperity and the most benefit has come from conservative governments. Yes, no, they're not perfect. I'm not saying they're perfect, but the best opportunities and the most prosperity has come from conservative governments, and the biggest expansions of government itself and the restriction of opportunity has come from leftist governments. Check the historical record and you'll find that the most economic prosperity has come when government has gotten out of the way and let the free market and let free citizens and free institutions do what they do best. Be creative, create new opportunities for themselves, and capitalize on them. This is what I believe is you're going to find here in Alberta if you give conservative governments an opportunity to run free. If you put yourself in a situation where you have an NDP-led government, you'll see an expansion of government like we have seen in British Columbia. You'll see a restriction of opportunity, a limiting of opportunity, and the government's conversations will always lean towards the government themselves providing you all the solutions. Believe me, you and I don't want to live in that world. We want to live in an opportunity of economic prosperity and opportunity, not large governments that restrict our freedoms. So I hope that's helpful for you. I hope you make an educated choice on EDAY. I definitely want you to vote on EDAY, one way or the other. I really do want you to vote, but make the right choice for you and your family, and I'm going to encourage you to make that in the direction of freedom and prosperity as opposed to big government and limited opportunity. So thanks so much for taking the time to just let me walk you through my neighborhood today, and I'll see you at the polls on EDAY. That's Monday the 29th. Make sure you go online. Alberta elections are easy to find information on. You can go to the Alberta election sites and find the polling stations near you, but make sure you get out and vote on EDAY on the 29th. Now, we've done some more videos that you can share with people that will encourage them to get out to the polls on EDAY. And all you have to do is just click on the top right-hand corner of the video right here.